Okay, so I'm going to give you a full understanding of inspecting an electrical system according to the standards of practice. Okay, so you're going to locate the meter first and determine what kind of service it is. When I say service, meaning underground or above ground. Sometimes you'll have them coming off a pole from the highest part of the house and entering, or sometimes you have it coming under the earth and entering. This one's coming. This is an underground service. So here you're going to look at your meter and you're going to check the meter rating, right? Here's our meter rating, CL200, okay? If the meter states anything lower than 200, then you cannot rate the interior panel. You can't rate it 200 amps. If it's CL100, CL150, CL125, or 60 amps or 80 amps or anything under 200, okay? Regardless, if you were to walk in here and you were to see the panel, which I removed this panel, and this is a requirement that we remove the panel just to view the interior of the panel. This is probably one of the only physical things, or just one of several physical things we do. We call this, this is called invasive. Everything else is non-invasive, okay, meaning it requires less less activity, less involvement physically. The other thing is to access and view a crawl space. Doesn't mean you crawl through it, you view it. You can view it from the opening or entry point, and as well as the attic, you can view it from the opening or entry point. You do not have to walk on an attic. Also, you do not have to walk on a roof. You have to view the roof, and you have to also document the way you view the attic, roof, or crawl space. So moving forward, we'll get back to the electrical. Here, once you get to the panel, you can look for the rating, 200. Sometimes if you don't see it here, this is your main shutoff. This shuts off all the electricity. If you don't see it, the rating on the main shutoff, you can go here and look at this ledger. It normally tells you here, or they're listed here. Okay. So basically, once you determine the amperage of the panel, this is 200 here, and it's 200 at the meter, so it's a 200 amp service. If it was 200 out there but 100 here, then it'd be 100 amp, because you got to go with the lowest amp rating. Okay. If I go outside and the meter said 100, but it said 200 in here, I still have to rate it as 100, and then have it further evaluated, okay, by an electrician. Okay, so here, imagine this cover was still on before we took it off. You're going to check your ledger. This is called a ledger. Make sure it's labeled properly to match up with the breakers that are here. Sometimes you'll find that there'll be a breaker that is not labeled, or the ledger is not labeled at all, or the ledger is not necessarily what we call legible, where you can't really understand it. Any of those things you find, you need to have the panel further evaluated. Once you get the panel cover off, make sure also, sometimes the panel covers are painted and sealed to the wall. Keep in mind, the house is not the buyer that you're representing usually. It belongs to someone else, so you may have to forego taking off the cover and just documenting why you couldn't. And that's with anything that you do. If you can't do it, you need to document that you're supposed to. You need to document why you couldn't do it. So once you determine that you can or can't, and you take it off, let's just say you can do it, and you take it off. Now, when you look inside, you're going to look for making sure that there's no scorched wires. There's no double tapped. When I mean double tap, meaning two wires going to one lug, and I should have a glove on, but I had to took the glove off. But you got to have on rubber gloves. I forgot to say that, and rubber sole shoes as well. The proper rubber gloves. So here you see two wires, but they're going to separate lugs. There's two wires, one in the back, one in the front. This is designed to accept two wires, but they're on separate lugs, as you see. I'll cut the light on. You see a silver lug and a copper one. Okay. So that's okay. Making sure, like I said, no scorched wiring. You're also going to check here. Well, I'm not going to get into components of all the different components inside the panel right now. But This is how the surface comes in. So if it was coming overhead or underground, this wire here 120, this wire here 120, so that makes up 240 amps. The braided silver wire is the ground. Okay, that's the ground wire. Okay, and here, these are called bus bars. The silver bars that run vertical or horizontal. Run vertical, so they're running upward. Okay, that green screw there is for ground. Anytime you see green, green indicates ground. There's a lot of stuff I'm leaving out, but I'm just trying to give you the basics. What else do we have here? Okay, also some of the older panels will have aluminum wiring, and you can pretty much tell when it's aluminum. Like if you look here, this is all copper. You can see the ends of it entering the lugs. I don't know if I could zoom in on this right here. It's copper, but if you see something silver, usually it's aluminum, or it'll actually have some lettering on the wire that will indicate aluminum. What it'll say, it'll have a C and an AL for AL for aluminum. Okay. Okay, so then, the other thing that we need to look for is, if you look here, see this copper wire. Okay, you're gonna have ground, and then you're gonna have bonding wire. Bonding. That ground wire, I'm trying to see where it goes. Usually it goes to the earth. Yeah, here it is right here. So you see where they have it grounded. So you're gonna look for grounding, proper grounding on the panel. You could usually trace that. Like I said, you see it coming out of here and going there. And then let's get to the other parts of the electrical inspection. Now, according to the standards of practice, you're required to check one outlet. And this sounds crazy, but this is how it works. You look at the term. The term is representative number. Representative number means one of each. So we're only really required to check one outlet in this garage, okay? And we test with outlet testers, okay? So we plug these testers in to the outlets, right? And these outlets have dummy lights that indicate, whether it's getting power or not. Anything other than 2 amber lights on this dummy tester would indicate that there's something it's not wired correctly. So let me zoom in on it. It has a ledger, see, and it tells you here. So you see two orange lights, correct. Anything other than that is incorrect. This is a GFCI outlet, so I can hit this button and it should trip, okay? And then I reset it and it's good. Now, GFCI outlets are required, or protection is required in, areas of high moisture content, where kitchens, bathrooms, garages, some unfinished basements. Pretty soon it's going to be required throughout the entire basement. The new codes coming out. We're not code inspectors, but you do have to have some familiarity with code. So here, like I said, this is a GFCI outlet. We really don't have to technically operate them by the standards of practice. Technically, by the standards of practice, you have to inspect, and that means to view. So all you're really required to do is look at the outlets. You're not required to put an outlet tester in and test it. So you need to know your standards, so as far as liability issues, lawsuits, and things of that nature. Now, if you tell the client you're going to do this, then you have to do what you say based on your contract that you have the buyer sign. So just keep in mind. So you're looking for scorched outlets. Make sure they're flush mounted to the wall. Nothing broken off inside the inlets of the outlets. But technically, you're only required to check one in each room. So for this, what I'm doing here, I'm only going to do one in each room. But I'm not going to do any more. But I've explained it to you. You're going to check your lights, okay? And also, one of the things I like to do, because I'm right-handed, when I enter a room, right, I'm either going to work from right to left or left to right. Usually I favor my right side, but in this room, since the panel was here, I start on the left and I go all the way around, okay? Right now, I'm only doing electrical, but technically on a regular inspection, or if I was doing this video and it wasn't for electrical only, I would stop here, then I would check the window. I usually check all outlets, but you're not required to, just so you know. I would circle this room in this manner. So now I'd be here to the hose bib, here to this outlet, the garage, okay? Okay, the garage. And then I would come here, and we're here, this utility closet. We've got a sump pump, okay? Light fixture, making sure the light fixtures function like they're supposed to because we're doing electrical. And then I would be out of here, okay? Then I would enter this room. I've got an outlet here. I'm coming to this utility room, looking for any electrical components, checking all electrical, checking light fixtures. I would test the light fixtures. Here we got a GFCI outlet. I would exit this room, okay? Now, once again, on a standard inspection, I would have to check everything in here, but we're gonna just stick to electrical for now. So I would enter this room, okay? I'm gonna go here, first thing on the left, light fixture. I'm gonna stay to my left. Looking down, I've got an outlet here, I've got an outlet here. I'm gonna check one of these outlets in this room, right? But in the meantime, I'm not gonna check anything else because remember, I'm going left to right. So when I hit this area here, there's another room. I'm gonna circle in to the left. I've got a bathroom, GFCI, it's making sure this should be GFCI protected. I'm gonna put my outlet tester in there, and I've already tripped that, so, but that's usually what I do. When I come in, circle out. You know, of course I would, check some of the other components in here. I'm gonna circle this room. This way you don't miss things, okay? This way you don't miss things. Circle the room, circle the room, circle the room. Make sure all my light fixtures work, on and off, okay? And I'm ready to go to the next level, okay? I'm gonna do the kitchen and then one bathroom, and that's gonna be it, just so you have a better understanding. So I'd enter this room, okay? I would have checked the outlet down here at the front door, then I would have came back up the steps. Here on the floor, here, circle this room. Remember, I'm going left to right or right to left. Here, now the kitchen. All kitchen outlets should be GFCI protected. All countertop, that's it. They all have to be GFCI protected. Okay. Here, this one doesn't. But here, the island, if you have an island, all that's required. So any outlets, if there's outlets here, all these have to be GFCI protected. Okay, and once I finish with this, of course I would have checked the appliances possibly. But by your standards of practice, you're not really required to check appliances. But if you don't, you probably won't generate much business. Okay, once I'm finished with this room, I'm going in here. This is a pantry. Here to the bathroom. And now I'm going to reset this one. This was from the other one that tripped. Remember when I was in the other bathroom, there was no power to the outlet, see? Okay, so the bathroom outlet GFIs are tied into each other. And that's the other thing you have to determine. You have to determine, whether or not they're tied into one another. So that when they trip, you have to know where to go to reset them. Sometimes you can reset them. Some are tied into the breaker at the main panel. Some are tied into another outlet. And that's something I'm not going to be able to help you with. You'd have to figure that out on your own. I'd come up this steps, enter this room, closet, out here, circle here, and now I'm in the bathroom, okay? Go to my left, here, come in and out, light fixtures, exhaust fans, all that's on the electrical circuitry, here. Circle in and out, walk the hallway, everything on the left. Remember, in this room, bam, circle in and out, here, this room, left, all the way in and out, here, and I'm done. I'm finished with the electrical. All right, so I'll probably provide another system for you guys. I would do the plumbing, I would do everything like that the same way. The only difference is if I'm doing a full home inspection, I'm going to stop. Like if I enter a room like this, I'll give you an example. So let's say I come in here on the left. I'm going to come in and hit the light fixtures. All right, I'm going to get the lights on. I'm going to hit this outlet. Let's say I did all the outlets. Hit that outlet. I'm going to come to the window. I'm going to open the window. I'm going to close the window. I'm going to lock the window. Make sure it locks because some of the windows alignment are not off. I'm going to come. I'm going to check these outlets, closet doors, make sure that they don't, that they're secure. And once again, outlet, bedroom door, and I'm out of this room. And that's pretty much how you do it throughout the entire home. Then of course, you do your appliances. And then, of course, you have your smoke detectors, carbon monoxide. I usually do not set them off because now some of the modern homes, all kinds of things can go wrong. It can set off the sprinkler systems. So you want to be wary of that. And then also, sprinkler systems, they're not part of a standard inspection, but I do look at them, make sure there's no paint or overspray on them, on these bulbs right here. That could also be an issue. But that's it. I kind of went a little overboard. I just was going to tell you guys electrical, but I couldn't hold back the information.